What's up YouTube, this is your friendly neighborhood movie nerd back to give you guys everything that is going on in the world of movies and TV, and I'm finally reviewing Justice League. It is the last superhero movie released in the year of 2017, which somehow had 8 superhero movies released this year. It is one half directed by Zack Snyder, and the other half sort of directed by Joss Whedon. But was this movie actually a success, or is it the critical and commercial flop that everybody is saying it to be? Well, this is my review for Justice League.
Ride ain't over yet.
My man.
Justice League is one part directed by Zack Snyder and the other directed by Joss Whedon. It is the perennial coming together of heroes that DC and Warner Brothers have been trying to get together in the 5 years since the release of the Avengers. In the film, Bruce Wayne, aka Batman, played by Ben Affleck, and Diana Prince, aka Wonder Woman, played by Gal Gadot, in the wake of Superman's death, must band together with 3 outsiders: Barry Allen, aka The Flash, played by Ezra Miller, Victor Stone, aka Cyborg, played by Ray Fisher, and Arthur Curry, aka Aquaman, played by Jason Momoa, in order to save the world from the invasion of Steppenwolf, voiced by Ciarán Hinds, and his parademon hordes who seek to conquer the Earth. Now, it has been no secret that in the 5 years that it has been since the release of the Avengers, Warner Brothers have been trying desperately to put together a cinematic universe in order to compete with Marvel. However, they have achieved very limited success, as the mixed reviews for 2013's Man of Steel caused them to wait 3 more years before the release of the double whammy that was the critically despised duo of Batman vs. Superman and Suicide Squad. However, a much-needed house change at Warner Brothers, plus the added bonus of Wonder Woman being universally praised around the board, saw a very different outlook going into this movie, one which spelled a much more positive future for the universe. While despite a very rocky road here, it looks like they have finally righted the ship. I'm not quite sure whether it was because they brought on Joss Whedon or because the new executive team in charge finally decided to take 3 steps back and actually trust the creators they bring on board, but whatever the case may be, Justice League, despite all of its flaws, is a legitimately good, well-made movie that is well-written, well-acted, and surprisingly enjoyable. The one thing I really have to give Warner Brothers credit for above all else is their casting. Whereas Marvel, and now by default Disney, have always casted seemingly the perfect person who looks and can adequately act the part, i.e. Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange, Warner Brothers and DC have had a long history of casting the last person anyone would think of for their superhero and villain roles, and it has often resulted in some of their best castings and roles in the eyes of the public, such as Michael Keaton as Batman or Heath Ledger as the Joker. They do it again here, as in addition to Gal Gadot and Ben Affleck, who is light years better in this than he is in Batman vs. Superman, all 3 of the new additions do a great job with their parts. But Ezra Miller, Ray Fisher, and Jason Momoa are all thoroughly enjoyable to watch. Each one of them gets the perfect amount of screen time to make them have arcs, and they're all so fully fleshed out, and the scenes where it is the 5 of them together make for some of the best scenes of the film, as Joss Whedon proves once again that he knows how to write super teams bouncing off of one another. I have to say, really, that if I did have to pick one standout in the film casting-wise, it's easily the last person that I ever would have pegged going in, and that's actually Superman of all people. Now, this is not a spoiler. Everybody who saw Batman vs. Superman knew he was coming back to life. I'm not going to spoil how he comes back to life, but when he does, I would say he steals every single scene that he's in, for the simple fact that with a few scenes in this movie, Joss Whedon is able to accomplish what Zack Snyder couldn't in 2 different movies, and that's giving him some actual personality. It truly is amazing how far a few well-written lines, some actual emoting, and not constantly brooding goes, even if the CG'd off mustache was extremely distracting. Now, I know a majority of the critiques towards this movie are going to go towards the story, and I do agree with them. This movie is nothing new story-wise. Anyone who saw the trailers for the movie can figure out the plot here. It's pretty much the same as the Avengers. They gotta get the thing before it opens a portal and lets another CG army take over the world. That much is nothing new. However, the movie is enjoyable enough that the bland plot and lousy visuals don't really bother me as much as I thought, because at the very least, it's consistent, which I never thought I would give a movie props for, meeting the bare minimum when it comes to storytelling. However, when it comes to this universe and the sins it's committed in the past, exceptions, I would say, have to be made. Easily the worst part about this movie is the villain, and I know that's expected when it comes to these movies, but considering this is DC and not Marvel, this was the one area that I was hoping that they would master, but nope. Aside from the fact that I had to keep telling myself that I wasn't watching a character straight out of a Mortal Kombat game, this guy is just another bland, forgettable villain who is just the next in a long line of villains who just want to take over the world. And it really kills me that an amazing actor like Ciarán Hinds, whose scenes on Game of Thrones are easily some of my favorites, was wasted in a role like this. Despite the movie's flaws, Justice League is a thoroughly enjoyable movie that does not feel like a product. It spells a bright future ahead for the DC universe that may in fact keep them around a lot longer than Marvel, simply for the fact that they're choosing to make their movies autonomous and not focus on the interconnected connected universe, which at this point is what they really need to do. Really good acting and well-written characters are what makes this movie, and it really is refreshing to finally see some actual justification as to why one can now go and like these characters rather than simply hiding behind the fact that people are finally getting to see these guys on the big screen. I'm giving this movie 7 out of 10 stars. So that's it. That is my review for Justice League. Haters, come at me, because I know there are a bunch of people out there that absolutely despise this movie, but that's fine because it's my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Be sure to click the like button and the subscribe button. Follow me on Twitter at Movie Nerd Review. Also head on over to the website movienerdreviews.com. That is it. I will see you guys next time.
Go!